Hello everybody, this is Nils from Euro144 Builders, and today's inbox review is on the Mini Hobby Models MiG-23 Flogger. Most of you have probably never heard about Mini Hobby Models. Well, it's basically a new company that's set up in the early 2010s, and it's maybe just to clarify, this is just a company that reboxes all older trumpeter brand molds. So the company mostly reboxes kits from manufacturers that have been long gone, such as Airy, Crown, LS Model, and even some newer Revell molds. This is actually another rebox from a very old mold. Well, let's see what the information is on this kit and see what's inside. Okay, looking at the kit, it was initially released back in 1975 by Crown, so this is a very old mold, and over the years it has also been re-released, reboxed by Revell, Minicraft, Academy, and also by Airfix. Now, when it comes to Academy, I should note that they have two different molds on the MiG-23. They have their own mold, which has a much shorter, more pointy nose than this one, but overall the mold is just about the same. Okay, this content of the box comes with 34 parts, which is 33 plastic parts on the sprue and one clear canopy. It was initially, as I said, it was initially released in 1975, and back then there wasn't really that much information on how Soviet aircraft looked in the West. So a large part of this mold is based upon pictures that was available at the time. Of course, there wasn't access to that much information and images as there is now, so expect some inaccuracies. Okay, opening the box and removing the plastic. This is the contents there is. As I know before, I said one gray sprue, but there are in fact two gray sprues. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick today, so caught a bit of a cold, so I'm a little bit off my game. But anyway, this is pretty much what you get inside. We have two gray sprues, one small decal sheet, and a clear part canopy. Now, if you look at most of these parts, detail is pretty much non-existent. There are some raised panel lines, but they're very, very, very faint. So, I can just, as you can see, the tail is pretty much void of any detail. Same goes for the nose parts. If you look at the wings, there is some detail there. It's very hard to see, but there are some raised panel lines. There's also a mechanism here to fold the wings in either a retracted or spread wings for landing. Tail section, there are some raised panel lines if you feel a bit, but it's very, very hard to see. So if you have a panel line scriber or something, you might want to engrave those a little bit more, because otherwise it's going to be a very, very blank. Okay, second sprue, we have the fuselage halves. See the holes for the landing gear. All in all, there's some flash here and there, but as I said, it's a very old kit, 1975. Molding the shape of the kit has not exactly aged well. There is some flash here and there, but all in all, it's not that bad. I've seen worse. We have the bottom fin, landing gear wheels, intake intake shields, the intakes itself, 2 air-to-air missiles. But if you look at the panelize, you might have noticed that for a MiG-23 the nose is quite pointy, and that's a little bit mistake on at that part. So as you know, most MiG-23s have this big bulby radar dome on the front section of the nose. This one pretty much has a very chiseled look, and it's not exactly right for a MiG-23, but it is right if you're planning on converting it into a ground attack version, such as the MiG-23 BN or the MiG-27D. Here we have the decal sheet. It's pretty much not exactly that good, not exactly that detailed, but all in all, for what I paid for it, it's not exactly yeah, don't expect much from it. And finally, here we have the clear part. Pretty much, yeah, blank shell, no panel lines whatsoever, no detail, and that's just about it. Instructions are not on the box, so if you're looking for the instructions with mini hobby models, they're printed on the back of the box along with paint instructions, but it's not really all that helpful because the black and white printed parts, it just blends in and it's hard to make anything out of it. So yeah, that's just about it. Well, usually this is the part of the video where I show off a finished model. Unfortunately, I don't have one this time. I did have one, but I lost it in a move when I moved in with my wife 6 years ago to our new home. Kind of gotten damaged beyond repair and had to throw it out. But it was the old Airfix boxing from 1999. It wasn't all that good anyway, and it was due for replacement, so I might have to get a crack at this kit when I find the time. But based on my experience with this kit, let's see what the conclusion is. Decals, it's quite poor. The red stars are very badly printed. Quality of the prints is not all that good, so I'm going to give it only a 2 out of 10. Quality itself, well, the plastic itself is decent. It's good for a fun build, but just because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, I'm going to give it 4 out of 10. Usually it would have been much lower. Detail, or should I say what detail, I'm going to call it 3 out of 10, because there's barely any raised panel line. The raised panel lines are barely visible. The nose shape is all wrong, especially if you want to build the radar nose version, which is the most common version of the MiG-23. The chiseled nose in the kit actually make it a good aircraft if you want to build a MiG-27 or a MiG-23 BN, which is the ground attack versions of the MiG-23. And another thing is that the mold itself is outdated. From 1975, it did not age well. As I said earlier in this video, it was made at a time where information on Soviet aircraft was very limited. It was pretty much not known in the West at the time how they looked like or what detail they had. Everything was pretty much kept secret. Okay, but moving on. Fit. I remember I did have a lot of problems with this kit, especially getting the fitting pins in the holes. The fuselage looked all warped, so fit wasn't all that great. It went together quite smoothly, but it wasn't all that great. It needed a lot of cutting and sanding, so I'm going to give it about a 5 out of 10. So overall score, I give it about a 4 out of 10. Not exactly good. Unfortunately, there isn't, on this scale, there aren't many options in terms of MiG-23s or MiG-27s. So you're basically stuck with this one until someone decides, hey look, let's make a new MiG-23 mold. But Mini Hobby Models is pretty much a cheap way to get a lot of these. They can be found relatively cheap on Chinese web shops like AliExpress, Alibaba, Wish, and so forth. I hope you like this video. I know it's not as long as I usually do. It didn't come out the way I wanted, but gives you a good overview of what the kit actually looks like. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or visit our Facebook page and share us your creations. And until next time.